For our third date, Michael invited me over to his place for a home-cooked meal. I was charmed. 36 and single. This was the closest I'd been in a long-term relationship in 4 years. Yet, I was also terrified. I'm an incredibly fussy eater who likes hamburgers and plain pizza and Cheerios. So, of course, I was too embarrassed to be honest when Michael asked.
So do you have any food hang-ups?
Nah, I eat everything. You can make whatever you want to make. It's fine. I instantly hated myself for being too agreeable and then fretted over not being able to eat whatever he prepared. Once at a friend's dinner party, I criticized a dish for being too spicy, and she never spoke to me again. Thankfully, Michael was far more relaxed about dinner. He casually poured wine and introduced me to his little poodle, Ruby, who quickly sniffed my foot and then returned back to her chew stick.
That means she's comfortable with you. I'd like having you here too.
Feeling a little more comfortable, I sang in my head a little. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, do-do-do. And then I envisioned spending the night.
Dinner should be ready soon. Hope you like lobster.
I instantly felt nauseated. I love lobster, but not to eat. As a kid, I briefly had them as pets. When I was 7, my father left our home in Yonkers, New York for a construction job in New England. In exchange for protecting the house during his 2-week absence, Dad returned with a gift, a styrofoam cooler containing 3 lobsters. Our family hardly ate seafood, so I just assumed that the lobsters were my pets. I admired their claws and antennae, and though I really wanted a puppy, I thought it was so cute how they just rested on each other. Excitedly, I raced to my room and scribbled their names. Red number 1, red number 2, and Santa Claus. C-L-A-W-S. I cracked myself up. Then I returned to find my dad and my sister boiling my new friends. What are you doing?
Making dinner.
But why do you want to eat my pets?
Lobsters aren't pets, they're food.
My sister, Michelle, grabbed red number 2 and joined Dad at the stove. I was jealous of the way Dad favorited her, but it was hard not to. A 17-year-old beauty queen, Michelle looked like a young Farrah Fawcett, yet also loved to play baseball and help Dad fix the Chevy. I, on the other hand, was the kind of kid who shoved crayons up my nose and hated sports and had leukemia. One of the worst things about having cancer, aside from the spinal taps and awful hospital food and losing my hair, was the change in the way Dad treated me. A stern Irish Catholic, he never showed his emotions. Yet, after I got sick, Dad often looked at me with sadness and treated me like this fragile piece of china. As I watched Dad and Michelle, I realized this was my chance to prove that, cancer or not, I was a normal kid. So I pushed Michelle out of the way, and I grabbed Santa Claus. Then as I hurled him into the pot, I whispered to him, "You can pinch me. I deserve it." Dad smiled proudly, and my family feasted on lobster. I abstained, spending the rest of the night in solitary like the murderer I was. I wanted to share my story with Michael, but what was I supposed to say? I think I might have daddy issues, and by the way, I can't be myself around you. Instead, I went with something a little more diplomatic. Sorry, bad headache.
Oh, I get those too. And nosebleeds.
I admired Michael for being honest and vulnerable, and I wish I could do the same. The rest of the date went fine. He made a peanut butter sandwich, and we finished the wine. Yet I was disappointed. On the way home, I called my father.
Is this important? I'm watching NCIS.
I wanted to have an honest conversation where we talked about the lobster incident and my time with leukemia. I wanted to tell him that I feared he and I would never really be ourselves around each other. Yet this kind of honesty wasn't really our relationship. So I let him off the hook. No, it's not important. Enjoy the show. Even more frustrated, I took another detour and then returned to Michael's, hoping what I was about to say wasn't a huge mistake. I get nosebleeds too. It may have something to do with my childhood cancer.
Let's take Ruby for a walk. You can tell me all about it.
Shake it off. Shake it off. All right. I do have a story about lobsters. Then I quickly stopped myself. I couldn't give away all my secrets, all my insecurities. I have to save some for the next meal.